What is going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us here on another beautiful Monday. Well, not really beautiful. It's raining here in Minnesota, but beautiful, beautiful because it's draft month. Vikings are getting their new franchise quarterback at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Um, all the draft buildup is kind of getting old at this point. I'm just kind of ready for the draft to get here, but it is what it is. But as I said, thanks for joining us here on another GG Sports Podcast live stream. Jamie, how are you? How was your weekend?
Good, man. Good. Yeah, I know it was your birthday this past weekend. It was my wife's birthday this past weekend. I think we both probably had a lot to drink, whatever. Getting prepared for the weekend of the draft early. Man, I don't know. I think like what you said, we're getting towards that time of the draft where it's just like there's not a lot going on here. Like there's a lot going on with the Vikings. I think it's at the point now where we know that I feel if the Vikings do a trade up, it's probably going to be draft day.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, like I don't even know how to feel. I don't know what the chances of us, how I feel, what the chances are for us to trade up, to stay at 11, whatever. I don't know. Like I'm kind of up in the air with how everybody's talking about it now. I mean, Penix has come up. There's a lot of people who mocks are having us picking Penix at 11 or 23 a lot now. You're seeing more of that than JJ McCarthy, which is kind of wild. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting times. But luckily, I mean, we still got some players to talk about. We're going to dive into some defensive interiors in a little bit here. But let's do some shout outs here. Of course, our guy Gary in the building with the hashtag skull. Another show, another Ivan Pace Jr. rookie card giveaway. Get the hashtag skulls in the comments. Out of 400 Pandora. Hashtag skulls in the comments, like the video and subscribe if you have not already. Hey, we got Dean in the building. What's going on, Dean? Welcome in. Two-Tone Tony in the building. What's going on, dude? Hey, welcome in. It's been a minute, Two-Tone. I don't know if we've caught you in here in a couple streams, in the past couple streams or not. Hey, there it is. Yep, get those hashtag skulls in. Adam's in the building. Yo, what's up, Adam? Get those hashtag skulls in, Adam. Like the video, hashtag skulls, all that good stuff. You guys already know. Anyways, yeah, where you at? So, I mean, I guess let's just go into the quarterback thing because where do you feel at this point? Because like I said, like that's how I feel. I don't really know. Before I would have been like, oh, 100% we're going to trade up. I don't know. Maybe it's because of Penix's draft stock going up, or maybe it's all these rumors talking about like the Patriots are, first off, one thing, Patriots said that someone's saying that will take at least 4 first-round picks to trade up to number 3. At that point, I'm kind of like, team, hell no, I'm not giving you 4 first-round picks. Like
you want to talk about unprecedented? That's where you reach that. That's never been done before.
Yeah, you're crazy. Go get your guy. I mean, Patriots right now, like, go get your guy. Ruin this young guy's career by giving him like the worst offense you could ever expect for a starting quarterback, a rookie quarterback. Hey, go do it. I mean, whatever, you know. You don't want to give us a fair trade. That's all good. So then, I mean that, and then I would say Drake May, his whole stock has kind of started going back up a little bit. I feel like you're seeing a lot more pro Drake May stuff than I did before. But yeah, let me know where are you at with all this? What do you think is going to happen? Any predictions?
It is weird that you do see like after the combine up to April, you do see those names that start to shift around where Jaden Daniels is the favorite to go number 2. McCarthy's being talked about number 2 and 3. And then as you get closer to draft month, things do kind of start to settle back into where you kind of expected them to be. I don't know. I don't know. It's tough. I would like for them to trade up to 3 and just make sure you're getting your guy, right? If you trade up to 4 and you get a guy at 4, you're like, oh, this is the guy we wanted, like of course, whatever. If you get up to 3, then you're stuck between a choice of at least 2 quarterbacks. Then like we'll know as a fan base that there is one they preferred over the other.
Mm-hmm.
But again, is it just the Patriots trying to just see what they could get for that pick? Maybe, but part of me does legitimately believe that they might, like, the only way they would move out of that pick, if they're convinced that one of those top 3 guys is their guy, the only way they would move out is if they got more first rounders and set a whole new precedent when it comes to trading up. And I mean, if the Vikings are that desperate to get up there, I think they would try to squeeze them for everything they could. But I don't see. I am also of the belief that if you like there's people out there that said I'm not willing to give up 3 first rounders to get up to pick 3.
Yeah.
I 100% am.
Yeah.
3 first rounders for sure. Because here's the thing, if you're going to move up to 3, it means you prefer one guy over the other guy that's left.
Right.
So that is what I've always said. Go get your guy. If do whatever it takes to an extent to go get your guy. Yeah, 4 first round picks, I'm out. But 3, the people that are so afraid to trade up, I feel like they live very risk averse lives.
Yeah. Which you can't.
Sometimes you got to take some risks.
You got to, especially if you've never won a Super Bowl before. Like you've never done it before. And one thing you for sure have not done is go grab a top 10 quarterback. And there's a lot of top 10 quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls, or at the very least been there, or been definitely going deep into playoffs every year. You know, a lot of those guys are top 10 quarterbacks. The Joe Burrows, the Justin Herberts, obviously, the Patrick Mahomes, the Josh Allens, like all those guys are top 10 quarterbacks. CJ Stroud now, who I don't think we've been on here since the Stephon Diggs trade. That was crazy. And I love how, what's his name? Yeah, no, Antonio Brown, right?
Yeah.
Antonio Brown's hilarious, and his CTE
ESPN.
Yeah, dude, that shit's so funny. And he called that like 3 weeks early that that Stephon Diggs would get traded, which I mean, that's crazy. So they actually, and the funny thing is they used our 2nd round pick that we gave to them to trade with the Bills. They used that 2nd round pick to go get him, which we got a 1st round pick. Obviously, Diggs was younger at that time, but still, we got a 1st round pick when we did it. So, hey, I think we definitely won that trade. But
and that really 1st round pick turned into Justin Jefferson. So.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what.
But it is funny because I did see.
What up? Up in the building.
What up? I did see because I think it was actually your buddy that's going to join us on here next Monday. I think he had put a tweet out. It was Adam Schefter talking about basically how this was kind of Houston's plan. They wanted to get out of the 1st round when, like obviously the rumors came out that they approached us first about trading for their 1st round pick, to where they said that they wanted to get out of the 1st round to accumulate more 2nd round picks so that they could potentially make a move like they did to go get Stephon Diggs. So there's an interesting way to think about it. I still think it's a win-win for both. I mean, they got a few lower round draft capital that they were able to turn to Stephon Diggs. The Vikings have that flexibility for quarterback in the 1st round. It's a win-win. I don't read too much into that stuff. There's a lot of people that are kind of whatever on Kwesi because it's like, oh, it wasn't even his plan to begin with. Yeah, I don't really care about that. He got an extra 1st round pick. That's all that matters. Yeah. And I'm still I still like the play. I think tomorrow we're on Bleacher Report and we're doing draft scenarios. And I guess I'll talk about it right now. But one scenario that is a real scenario, I think, is if we were to not get one of the top 4 quarterbacks, we didn't trade up. Maybe we do end up picking Penix at 11. And I think you have to.
How you think at this point?
I think you'll have to. If you want him,
I don't love that.
I don't know. You'll have to take him at 11. I feel like.
I'm not.
But I mean,
if we don't,
I
don't want Bo Nix.
Well, if we don't take him at 11, I think that either the Broncos, Raiders, Saints, Seahawks, one of those teams pulls the trigger instead. Yeah.
And it'd be tough to, if we trade, that's the hard part. And if we were to trade back there, we're trading behind 2 teams that really need quarterback in the Broncos and the Raiders. So that's tough. So if there's a scenario where Penix, we miss out on the top 4, Penix is there at 11, and then we sit at 23 and there's just nobody we like there. And we end up deciding to not use that pick to trade like there's a possibility we end up trading back anyways, I think, because if you're all set on going defensive interior and Newton and Byron Murphy are still gone, I think there's kind of a drop off there until the 2nd round where you grab another one. So if you're gung ho on that, maybe you would rather pick up a 2nd rounder, which seems to really make no sense after the trade up with Kwesi. But still, in my opinion, it doesn't bother me because I'm like, hey, Kwesi got an offer to get another 1st round pick. He knew that it was extra ammo for when the chance is for him to potentially move up. At least he knows he is the best team to be able to do that. So it's like, regardless, I think it was a smart play by Kwesi, whether it was his idea or not. Obviously, if it was his idea, we probably would already have traded up once, but so I don't know. It will be interesting, but hey, we can get into some other stuff here. Eli, you guys hear what Hodges said about May?
I did. Yeah, Merrill Hodge said that Drake May is the type of quarterback you get fired for drafting. coming from the guy who wasn't he the guy who was a GM for the Raiders? He was, right?
I don't even know. He said that about May. I didn't know that. I see. The thing with May is like if we were to trade up to number 3 for him,
Yeah, he was the guy that was the freaking GM of the Raiders. Like, you want to talk about getting fired?
Yeah. I mean, which quarterbacks has he drafted?
None.
I don't know. There's a lot of things to like about May. The big thing with him is obviously there's just like all that hype surrounding him going into this past season, going into this off season in the draft. So it is like if you trade it up to number 3, I mean, you are getting a guy that has all the physical tools you want. And he did in 2022, he really showed how good he can be. Ultimately, we saw a step back from him going into this past season, but was it because he had such a bad offensive line? It's fair to say. It's fair to say that's true. I mean, yeah, if the Patriots pick him at 3, I mean, they're probably fucked, but whatever, you know. Hey, let the Patriots do it. Let the Patriots go get their guy, I guess.
Just ruin his career.
Yep, they're gonna ruin his career. Hey, what's going on, Barber? Welcome in. JJ McCarthy. Yeah, what's this? So right now I got just 7 votes. Who do you think the Vikings will get? So far, McCarthy's at 43%, Penix is at 43%, May's at 14%, Daniels is at 0%.
I think that's fair. I mean, I do still think Daniels goes number 2, and I just think it's going to be hard. Really, I think it's going to be really difficult to get yourself up to number 3. I don't know. I don't see a scenario. I don't know. I would like to say that I think that the Patriots come draft day will make the move for 3 first-round picks. But I don't know. The more I sit here and just the more I think about it, I just honestly feel like they're just going to stay there and take their guy.
Yeah, I know. And I kind of felt like that before. But, man, I mean, there's just that period of time where it's like anything is possible.
Right.
but I mean, before even the draft, but before the offseason, we kind of felt like the chances of the top 3 quarterbacks or teams going quarterback was pretty high.
Yeah. But here's the thing, though. It's like, so if the Cardinals or the Chargers or the Tennessee Titans or whoever wants more than you're willing to give to go up and get McCarthy, if they honestly feel like Penix could be their guy, then they don't need to make any moves here, right? And I think we'll kind of know if the draft just kind of goes on in the regular order and nobody makes a move up for McCarthy. I think you'll know that those teams are asking the Vikings too much for a trade up, and they're comfortable with seeing if McCarthy slides to 11. Or B, if he's gonna be there at, or if they're comfortable enough sitting there at 11 and grabbing Michael Penix. So I don't know. I think it's gonna be. I mean, obviously it's gonna be telling, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
Dude, I know. It's like I don't know. As soon as you have a good idea of what you think we're going to do, which at one point it was like, oh, we're going to trade up for sure, and now we're sitting here like I don't know, and we're probably not going to know till draft day.
Yeah, but then you want to talk about the
what up, Skull Shred, Joey in the building. What up, Russell?
Because that all leads to the ultimate flexibility here, right? Like you're sitting at 11. You don't need to use those 2 first-round picks to trade up and go get McCarthy if you're comfortable enough with Penix at 11, maybe, or you think you can get him at 23. And then you're also sitting there thinking, it's like, well, now we're going to have our pick of one of the better defensive players in the draft at 23 or at 11, depending on where you decide to go quarterback. So, I mean, he honestly is in the most flexible position. He doesn't need to move at all if he doesn't feel the value out there, right? Like, again, if they love JJ McCarthy, then you go right ahead and jump up and get JJ McCarthy. You'll have that opportunity to do so. If you don't want, and if you feel like it's going to cost too much, you sit back, you go defense and quarterback, and it's going to be that's going to be a good move as well. So I don't know. It's exciting, but also like let's just get this next 2.5 weeks over.
I know it's going to be a long one. I think next week it'll be kind of like, okay, it's like getting around the corner, but week of is when things will really start ramping up again as far as that goes. And that's what, like, the whole thing is like, no matter what, like like you said, the flexibility is there though. Like if anybody can move up, it's going to be us. We have the most assets to do it, especially for this year with 2 first-round picks. So I do think that is really important. And it gives us a lot of options, but of course, still, if there's a guy you like and you think he's going to be a franchise quarterback, just go and get him. We're gonna let Jamie do the shredding. Let's go. I can taste that day. Can't wait. I know we're getting closer. We're getting closer. Again, everybody, I had two evils hashtags go here. Of course. Another show, another Ivan Pace Junior rookie card. I think I only have 3 more after this one, so we're running low here. But and then I'm gonna have to get some new cards. But again, get the hashtag skulls in the comments, like the video, subscribe if you have not already, but get those hashtag skulls in for your chance to win the Ivan Pace Jr. card at the end of the show. Got to be here to win. Out of 400. I still wish my phone had better quality, up close quality. I don't know what's going on with that, but yeah, get those hashtag skulls in there for sure. I think, yeah, Joey, yours should be on its way. It should be getting there pretty quick here. Anyways, though, we got kind of some of that stuff out of the way, but there is another position because there's a chance. I mean, there's a couple things here. One, if we go up and trade for the quarterback of the future, we don't have another pick to the 4th round. That's a real possibility. Or we do pick Penix at 11, or we pick Penix later. Whatever happened, we lose on the top 4 quarterbacks, and we do keep both our 1st round picks, using one of them on potentially one of them on one of the top defensive interior linemen in this draft. We're going to give you our top 5. We had our own video that came out last week, but we're going to kind of talk about it here on this live stream. There's been a couple updates, unfortunate updates. I will say unfortunate updates for some of these players. Well, one specifically that we'll get into, but let's run into this real quick, starting with our number 5. And I am not going to try to pronounce. I can't even say pronounce. So I'm definitely not going to try to say his last name. And that is Rook. I'll just go with Rook. Casey, if you want to take a stab at it.
Rook. Remember he said it's like, oh, row your boat.
Oh, yeah. Rook Aroro.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah, Rook Aroro. Yeah. Rook Aroro from Clemson, our number 5. I guess right off the bat, in my opinion, watching this kid, first, he is a beast size, like athletic freak. Like he's like the type of dude that looks like a defensive interior version of Danielle Hunter. So he just has that freak athletic build. But he does everything you want as far as rushing the passer goes and stopping the run. The big thing with him is he does seem kind of raw, and he will get beat a lot. So I would look at him as kind of a little bit more of a project, but he did step up in this last season to kind of make himself known. And ultimately, I mean, I think he's projected to go in the probably definitely day 2, but potentially 2nd round pick here. Mm-hmm. And we have him rounding out our number 5 here. What's your thoughts on Rook?
Well, it's funny because one of the very first mock drafts that I saw had us taking Rook in the 2nd round. So like I've heard his name since the whole, since really like the draft process and like the whole mock draft phase of this draft started. So I like him. I like what I saw from him. I think he'd give us, again, if we still had our 2nd round pick, he'd be a guy that you could get, and he would be that impact type of player in the middle.
Yeah.
Before we traded away our 2nd round pick this year, that you could have got him in the 2nd round. So
I would say if we got into like the back end of the 2nd round, let's say we did trade back and we got in the back end of the 2nd round, or of course, if somehow he was there in the 4th, or we decided to trade up for him because he was in the 3rd or something like that. I feel like that. I feel like he's kind of raw for what we'd want. You kind of would want a guy that you don't think is going to be as big of a project for our situation, because we need a defensive interior so bad. And we might not have much of a choice, because unless we have, we're going to have 2 4th rounders anyways. But if we were in the 2nd round, I'd probably rather go grab this guy early. And that's Braden Fisk. A guy who's nonstop motor. This is the dude that you can just tell is always chasing the quarterback constantly, can blow up the middle of the offensive line, and obviously an athletic freak. As everybody saw, he had the highest he had the best 40-yard combine, or 40-yard dash at the combine, with like a 4.78, something like that. And it's really boosted his draft stock. I think he was always projected to kind of be day 2 for sure, probably a later 2nd round pick, and his draft stock's kind of boosted up to the top half, or to the top of the 2nd. And if we were sitting there in the top of the 2nd, there's a guy I really, really want, and we're going to talk about him next, and we might be able to get him later. But Braden Fisk, if we were able to go back into the 2nd round and we ended up with him, I would be happy. There's a couple guys I'm not huge on, like Chris Jenkins. I know we got a couple Michigan. We always have a lot of Michigan fans in here, but we weren't as big on Chris Jenkins as a lot of people. And yeah, I don't know. We like
solid. He's solid. This is tight. Again, this is another guy who just fits kind of exactly what we need. Someone who can get after the quarterback in the middle of the defense.
Never take a Clemson cornerback in the second round again.
Yeah,
I mean, hey, I'm not out on Brand. I'm not out on Booth yet. I mean, he had a solid end of the season actually. I mean, I'm not, we were hoping that he was going to be kind of like an all-star cornerback at some point based off all the hype that was in training camp. But I think we're going to see a lot of him next year. And then I think we'll have a real say on whether he's a bust or not.
Mm-hmm.
But Braden Fisk, I don't know. I like him. But now we get into the better ones here. And I mean, because that's the hard part. It's like we kind of feel like the chances are we're not really going to be in the second round. We do have first round picks. There's a chance out there we could grab one of these guys. And then if there's one I would want in the second round, that might not matter as much anymore. And that is our number 3 guy. And a lot of people think he could be a day 4 pick. Some people have him probably, at the bottom of their top 10. He's our number 3 guy. Absolute monster, 366 pounds, like 6'1" or whatever. The thing I like about him, because everybody wants to say, oh, it's because of Byron Murphy. It's because of Byron Murphy, even though I've seen tons of tape of him blowing up double teams. Just the thing I like about him is he's going at 366. At the very least, you're getting a guy that's going to eat space and is going to be good at stopping the run more than likely. The thing with him is I see him multiple times blow up the line of scrimmage and go and get the running back or go and get the quarterback instead of just waiting to let them come to him like Chris Jenkins does. That I notice is he kind of just lets them come to him. Very sound tackler and everything. Not to, hate on Chris Jenkins too much. But the big thing with T'Vondre Sweat is
he was sure sweating when he saw the red and when he saw the red and blue lights in the rear view. That's for sure.
So obviously, unfortunate situation for Sweat, a guy that I projected to go in the second round, probably early second round, even though a lot of people think he's the third round pick. Now, I don't know what that will do to his draft stock and if there's a chance he somehow could drop to the 4th round.
Hey, he and Wes Phillips can go take some classes together once he gets here.
What up, Zoe?
Go to some AA meetings, some good team bonding, team building right there. I love it. I don't know. It'll be interesting because I think a lot of times people do kind of. I get it. Like it's not a good thing. We all know that, but I do think some people see that and they overreact. Like, oh, he's not going to be drafted at all anymore. It's. It's bad judgment to begin with, right? It's worse judgment to do that during the month of April, during draft month, where your draft stock is anywhere from 2nd to 4th round.
Yeah,
like it's bad judgment no matter what in general, real life and football together. But again, these things. It hurt Laramie Tunsil when he did the gas mask video.
420s this month too. Keep him away from the.
Right. From the I don't know though. To me. I think it's one of those things that people look past it, and he's probably still going to be 2nd, 3rd round pick. So
yeah.
I think he's going to be just
I think he'll just draft.
He'll learn. It was a learning experience for a young man.
Fortunately, it didn't turn into no one got hurt. There wasn't an accident, anything like that. That's where things get really kind of crazy. But I'm sure it hurts him a little bit. But
Jalen Carter, he wasn't drinking, but
there's a team that really likes him. I don't know if this is a big enough reason for them to just pass on him, but maybe. So, if he could, that'd be best case scenario for us possibly is somehow he lands in the 4th round. That's what I would want because I do like him a lot. The next 2 on our list here are it was hard to choose for us. We kind of feel them as pretty close together, and I'll just might as well just talk both of them at the same time. We got Byron Murphy, the 2nd at number 2, and we actually picked Johnny Newton as the number 1 defensive interior defensive lineman in this draft. Casey, if you want to kind of go into the reason why, what your thoughts on these 2 players and why we ended up going with Newton number 1?
Look, Byron Murphy. A little bit small. A little bit smaller than Newton. That was kind of one of the things. Like when 2 guys are so close, you got to find some way to give the other guy the edge. Right. But like Byron Murphy was freaking explosive, right? Like ball of energy, solid player. But I just saw a couple more things from Johnny Newton that I liked, and I get it. Different levels of competition, obviously. Big Ten. Well, the national title. The national champion came from the Big Ten. It's still a different brand of football overall that you see in the Big Ten that you see from, the teams that Texas play in the SEC and stuff. So
Right.
I don't know. It's a slight edge to Newton. It's a slight edge to Newton. And personally, like Byron Murphy, I would absolutely adore Byron Murphy as well. But
Byron Murphy just has,
Newton just spoke to me a little bit.
Just like Braden Fisk, he just has that motor that you like. Like at the very least with him and Braden Fisk, you're getting a guy that's just not going to quit on any play. And he's always going to do whatever he can to go get the quarterback. And that's what you like about those types of players. Because at the very least, they're going to try hard. The worst thing ever is when it's a talented player, but they take plays off and things. I know people say that about Sweat. He is 366 pounds, but that is the thing with Byron Murphy, man. He can just blow a player up and he just comes in like a missile at the quarterback. And obviously everybody loves that. The only thing with Newton that for me that stood out was Newton can kind of do all that kinds of stuff too. I wouldn't say maybe at the same level as Byron Murphy as far as just really blowing up a player and then, just coming in like a heat-seeking missile like Byron Murphy does. But he is just so much more technical and uses all types of spin moves and like swim, especially his swim moves. He uses, that must be just his bread and butter. So he can just beat the defensive interior from a bunch of different ways. And honestly, when you look at a lot of players, it's nice when there's a player they put in the work to learn how to do this. Like you don't just learn, or you're just not using your athletic ability all the time. You're learning how to leverage players. This was the big difference with Daniil Hunter when he came on our team, and he was just a physical freak. And the big thing that they changed with him is he was able to sit down and learn how to be more of a technical pass rusher. And that's what he did. And that's why he became, the Daniil Hunter that we all know and love, at least until we play Houston. Yeah, we do play Houston, at least until we play Houston this year.
Yeah. But it's one of those things though, where at least Daniil Hunter was able to sit behind Everson Griffin and Brian Robinson and learn the ropes, where like, you bring in this guy, like there's a good chance no matter who you take in defensive interior, they're going to be asked to be a day one starter with how, or they're going to definitely get a chance to compete. But
yeah,
there's a good chance that there's going to be the expectation, especially if you take one of those guys in the first round, that they're going to need to be impactful day one. So,
yep. And so this is the scenario we're kind of also in, is there's a chance that obviously that we use both our first round picks. This is what I do want to happen, because I want the Vikings to know that they like their guy and go get him if they can, which obviously that probably means JJ McCarthy, with the idea of the top three quarterbacks being gone in the top three picks. And that's definitely a possibility here. Andre Patterson was a hell of
that helps.
Yeah, sure. I know. Yeah. We need to grab that. But we need to get him back too. That would be nice. That's what we need, honestly. Andre Patterson would be nice.
Didn't our defensive line coach just like leave halfway through last year to go coach a different team? I thought there was something about that where he just like left halfway through the season.
There's something like that
2 years ago or something like that.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly what happened with that.
But that's just the thing. Like, look, Harrison Phillips. I like Harrison Phillips, right? But he's part-time starter / like rotational piece, and he was asked to be our true nose tackle last year, and that's just not, that's just it ain't it. Kyrus Tonga obviously didn't step up like people thought he was going to. Bullard we brought him back, of course, but Bullard's Bullard. Like Jaquelin Roy, well, I think he did get some reps later on. He's still, he's still trying to grow, but they need to add to that spot, and it's outside of quarterback. I would call it the weakest position on the team. So
yeah.
It's a spot that they need to find somebody there, whether it's later on, which we can talk about some of those guys that we like, that they're going to be later round prospects. Yeah. But like, that's like the one thing that would entice me if they think that if they were somehow able to get like Sweat or get Penix at 23, that's one of the things that would entice me about sticking and picking, is to get one of these guys at pick 11, or take a quarterback at 11, get one at 23, whatever way you look at it. I would just love for them to try to find a way to add one of these guys.
Yeah.
They need it. They desperately need it.
Right. 100%. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about like the scenario where we don't have a second and third round pick, and we did trade up to go grab JJ McCarthy or maybe somehow Drake May or whoever we ended up with, and we have to hope a guy there's fourth round. Obviously, you know, we're crossing our fingers that the DWI, even though you shouldn't wish a DWI on anybody, but I ain't gonna act like I don't want that to be a reason for him to fall to us in the fourth. So Sweat, that'd be best case scenario for us. But other guys that we do like is I like personally is Dwayne Carter from Duke. And I mean, I'll let you talk about your guy a little bit, but Dwayne Carter, the thing with him, and we were watching his tape that I saw from him, is he kind of can do everything too, as far as like beating offensive interior linemen and getting to the quarterback and things like that, and just winning at the line of scrimmage, which is something you just look for when you want a defensive interior. Yeah, I guess it's different a little bit when you want like a nose tackle, a big guy that's kind of there to stuff to run. But that's why I like Sweat so much, because when you watch him, you can see him also disrupt the backfield as well. But Carter can do all those things. The things that I recognized with him is, I mean, he's well known to be like the leader of the defense for Duke, and he's very instinctual. Like when you're watching his tape, there's just, you see him kind of running in the passing lanes. I think I had a clip on our video where he's like getting close to the quarterback, but he just like recognized that the check down was rolling out and he just gravitated towards him. And I don't know, there's some things with him that you just see from like an instinct. When I compared to these other guys that I watched, it kind of just stuck out to me. And that's the reason why, I don't know, I kind of like Dwayne Carter a lot. And there's a chance he's not even there in the fourth. He's projected probably around the third round pick. Some people have him kind of going in the beginning of the fourth round, but it is a guy that I like. I know you have another big boy that you like that is kind of taken. I mean, hey, swing for the fences at that point.
Right. I mean, I look at Christian Boyd out of UNI. Like, yes, smaller school, you do need to factor that in. But I'm not a big PFF guy, but his PFF grades really told the entire story that he is good at pretty much everything. He was a solid pass rusher and he was good against the run, good size. So again, and you could probably get him with your second first round pick, maybe even your second, fourth round pick, maybe even if you're one of the fifth round picks they have. So I think he's kind of a deeper guy there. I know I've heard his name come up a couple times. I know Purple for the Win's pretty high on. I'm taking him later on. So, I mean, if you can get yourself an all-around good defensive interior guy later, I'm 100% down with that.
Yeah. Well, Chris Boyd, the thing with him is obviously like he's a big dude. He's another guy. I mean, there's him, there's McKinley Jackson, and then as far as like these big types of guys, Sweat, obviously, but I do like Chris Boyd, like you said. I mean, he has his PFF grades. Everything is great. He's played for a small school, like you said. And that's going to be, obviously, that's the big knock on him for sure. He's someone that seems like he could do everything you want, but he plays from a small school, and that's a big difference. You're not playing nearly high competition, but the positives of him is it sounds like he had a really good Senior Bowl, and he stood out during the Senior Bowl. So it's not the first time you see someone come from like a D2 school and they end up being, one of the best at their positions, aka CJ Ham. Let's go. But yeah, shout out. Speaking of that, actually, I might as well bring it up. We got Skull Notion in here, another guy that I graduated high school with, and he's going to be on our show next Monday. Him and his buddy on his channel, who's a Raiders fan. So we're gonna do some mock drafts with Raiders and Vikings, and it'll be interesting since we both need quarterbacks and all that kind of good stuff. His podcast is called Nap Time Sports. Let me see if I can find it. Y'all should definitely go and subscribe to him. Obviously, he'll be on next week, so we can talk about things a little bit more deeply. All right, here it is. Yeah, definitely go and subscribe here to Nap Time Sports. Let's go. He'll be on Monday. But yeah, so I mean, it's definitely a chance. So I think that's where I'm kind of at too. Like we just need size so bad. That's what it feels like. That's what we're missing. That's what we've been missing. The games last year. I mean, I don't know if it's just a Brian Flores thing, because somehow Brian Flores is just a band-aid for kind of a weak personnel, which is great to have him back. But I was so worried about our interior defensive line last year. I thought we were going to get ran on all season long. And honestly, it wasn't so bad sometimes, but the games that the teams figured out, like the Eagles games, that we have nobody in the middle of that defensive line, those teams just ate us up over and over, and we could do nothing to stop them. Hey, what's up, Alyssa?
How's it going? And then it just kind of trickles down the rest of the way, right? So like last year, we relied way too much on Danielle Hunter and DJ Warren to get after the quarterback, right? Because and that's the problem. When you have no interior push, when you have no push in the middle, offensive lines can focus on your edge rushers, right? Which in turn, when you're not getting to the quarterback at every level of that defensive line with your linebackers and with your interior, then your corners are gonna have to cover longer. And that leads to what we saw last year, right? Like, I feel like there's way more talent in that cornerback room than people realize. Like the pass rush and your defensive backs, they're married. They're married hand in hand. They go hand in hand with each other. If one does well, the other one needs to do well as well to kind of keep things even, right? Right. I think that would help. That would help the cornerback so much if we could just get to that quarterback sooner, so receivers don't have all day to finish their routes off. And the quarterback doesn't have time because eventually, no matter who the quarterback is, if receivers have enough time, the quarterback will be able to. A quarterback who has enough time will be able to make the right decision and get the ball where he needs to get the football. So it's just, I think that would help our corner so much if we could just, because I expect Van Ginkel and Grenard. Do I expect them to be Danielle Hunter? No, but I expect both of them together to be enough to replicate some of the production we saw last year. But in order for the entire defense to work as a unit, the interior needs to be able to get after the quarterback as well. And like you said, in some of those, or the run, like I remember after the Eagles game, we thought our run defense was effed the rest of the year. We never saw another game that bad.
Not that bad. We had a couple that were beat by the running backs, but nothing like that.
Right, exactly. So they were able to be sufficient in the run game, but they could still be much better, right? So They need size. They need some impact. They need a guy that can get, I mean, if they could find the best of both worlds, guy that get after the quarterback and was solid in the run game, that would be the ideal pick right there. But it's just, that is what the defense, I think this defense could reach its full potential if we just get one big bodied guy that can get after the quarterback.
Andre Sweat, check him on 420.
I mean, honestly though,
gas mask. Come on.
Someone record videos of everything he does. Like Vikings fan who lives where he does. Record anything you can find of him.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, especially when you have a smaller heat-seeking missile type of guy like Ivan Pace Jr. It's nice if you have a big body in there that can take on, one or two guys at least, to kind of so he can kind of get through some of those holes, create some space and some holes for him to get through. Because that's the problem. I mean, if you're just getting beat at the line of scrimmage all the time, like it makes it harder on your other pass rushers too, especially if you're not like an edge pass rusher. If you're a guy that kind of comes through the middle.
Yeah, no quarterback. Rebuild the Williams wall. Get yourself Tavondre Sweat and Byron Murphy. There we go. Who needs offense when you have that? When you have those,
and then you can't say nothing about that. That Sweat's production all came from Byron Murphy because he'd still have him.
Could you imagine that? Could you imagine those two on the same team?
Oh, I'd be
trade back. Spots, still get your quarterback and grab both of them. I'm in.
I mean, I
trade up and go get your guy. Trade up and go get your guy.
Speaking of that though, because I mean, looking at this poll, we got what we got. Just 13. We got 13 votes. We got 31% saying McCarthy, 23% saying May. We got 46% saying Penix, which, man, the tables are turning with Michael Penix.
This isn't people wanting us to take Penix. This is
just what you
realistically thinking that Penix is probably, because I think you do have people that don't want to give up 3 first-rounders for JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, and I do think that's fair. That's kind of he does have that. Even though I like JJ McCarthy a lot, but he does have that question mark to move up 3, and especially if we're trading to like the 5th round pick, it's like we're gonna give 3 first-round picks.
But here's the thing, because everyone says like it's not going to cost that. But if you're sitting there looking at the Raiders or not the Raiders, if you're sitting there looking at the Cardinals, let's just say the Cardinals and the Chargers, they're in no like big desperate rush to move, right? Because if you're sitting there number 4 with the Arizona, and you're like, we want 3 first-round picks, like, well, we're not giving you 3 first-round picks, and there's gonna be okay, fine, we'll just stay here and take Marvin Harrison then. Like, it doesn't matter to us.
No, and they almost ultimately that's why I'm worried about. That's why I'm really worried.
And the Vikings, knowing the Vikings need a quarterback, does not help our cause, right? Because
Yeah.
they're going to be able to try to leverage everything they can get out of us. And again, if we're not offering them enough to where they're going to make the move, they might just say, well, screw it then. We're just going to stick and pick here. And or maybe like, okay, fine. Well, the Raiders will give us 3 first-round picks. We're just going to take their offer then. You guys go do what you want. I don't know. So I don't know. It's tough. It's tough.
And I do think that is like the like unless if we're just realistic here, like just very realistic, it's the top 3 quarterbacks are gone because all 3 teams need one, and obviously they're probably going to ask way too much for us to move up.
Like
unfortunate, but it feels that's the truth. And I was just going to say, as far as JJ McCarthy goes, you got Arizona, you got the Chargers there, both of them desperate for a wide receiver. They are desperate for a wide receiver, especially one thing that no one's talking about. Honestly, I'm like the only one that I hear is just how desperate the Chargers should be for a wide receiver. Everything's talking about Justin Herbert never getting help, and now you get rid of both his best wide receivers, and you think they're not going to be doing whatever they can to go grab one of these guys. That's the thing. I don't think trading with the Chargers is going to be as easy as some people want to think. And I mean, they both need receivers so bad that I think it's just going to be a lot for them to move. And then you got just the Giants sitting there after, and that's going to bring up the cost too. And then also, of course, having 2 other teams right behind you who are trying to do the same thing we are. And it's just, everything shows to me that to move up, we're going to probably have to pay more than anybody wants. And if that's not the case and we're not willing to do that, it's probably sticking to 11. And if people really feel good enough about just sticking and picking and grabbing Penix there, which we might have to at this point, you might have to do that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's all speculation for the next 2.5 weeks. I mean, it's been all speculation for the last couple months, but it's only going to get worse. And it's at the point now where it's like, to start, it's fun to start seeing all like this, like different scenarios and the rumors. It's fun to start, but now we're at the point where we're just hearing the same things over and over and over.
Yeah, there's
again.
a couple new things. Like, well, the Justin Jefferson stuff's back up today. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's just you just kind of rotate through it. I don't know. That's what, we were kind of waiting for that trade up, and then obviously it never happened. Then we were, we found out that it was Houston's idea, not ours. And you just don't know. And like I said, with everything I said about those top teams, like, I just don't think it's going to be very easy, but it's not going to be easy for anybody. And ultimately we do have the most ammo. It'll be easier for us than the Raiders, than the, and the Broncos for sure. But the Giants, I think, are the big question mark here as far as if they really, really want JJ McCarthy. I think that would make things different. Like that could make, obviously, I think I would not be surprised if they're the team with them. But if that isn't their biggest concern right now, then I mean, still a really great chance that we end up with JJ McCarthy.
Right. I think it's I do think that, I could see the Giants going quarterback personally, because I think I get it. They just paid Daniel Jones, but I also think
what's up?
What's going on? School for life. I do see a scenario in which Brian Daboll and whoever, I don't remember who the general manager, they're sitting there. It's like, wow, we just gave Daniel Jones all this money. We don't think he's good enough. We might be able to hold on to our jobs a little bit longer if we just grab another quarterback, right? Yeah. So I could see that. But I could also see that, again, this whole thing of them being like, oh, we're into JJ McCarthy, is to get a team to trade up ahead of them and push another one of those wide receivers down. So instead of only having one choice, they're going to have at least 2 guys to pick from there at 6.
Right.
And that's what this time of year is all about, right? Teams doing that, putting those things out into the media, just try to make other teams to get other teams to make moves. So
yeah, and that makes
very likely that could be the case with this one.
Because for me, I mean, I'm still not. I ultimately, I don't think they're going to go that direction with JJ McCarthy unless they just love him, which is a possibility. I do think they really need a wide receiver too. I think all 3 of those teams are desperate for wide receivers, and wide receiver or tight end. Because again, you have the great, like the generational tight end talent in Brock Bowers in this too, that I think a lot of us are forgetting. And the Giants lost Waller this past season. I think he retired, right? I think. So they don't have a tight end. They don't have their best wide receiver right now. They're like a poor man's Packers, where it's like, oh, their wide receivers are a bunch of like low end wide receiver 2s instead of like higher end wide receiver 2s like Packers have. I mean, their best wide receivers like Hodgins. Who else do they got? Hodgins. They do have our guy.
What's his name? What's his?
Jay and Hyatt.
Yeah, but they have Darius Slayton and Sterling Shepard. They've had Sterling. I feel like Sterling Shepard's been in the league for like 10 years.
I think they might not have him anymore.
Don't they?
We're missing a guy too. We're missing another guy too. I
Darius
forgot.
Slayton.
Yeah, no, not him.
He's,
Robert
um,
Wendell Robinson.
oh yeah, that's right. Sterling
Yeah,
Shepard is
he's
still,
good enough.
he is a free agent. He is not on the team anymore, but still.
Yeah. So he's a free agent. But yeah, they don't got much there. So that's the thing. That's like the whole point with the Giants pick is you did sign Daniel Jones. The thing I was like all on, like, no way they go quarterback. But I do like there's reports saying that they're just worried about his injury history and stuff like that. But I'm still like, you just paid this dude, what was it, 40 million a year, and you just give him 1 year. I don't know. I'm not convinced by that. And he doesn't have any pieces around him. He has like the worst wide receiver, like pass catching, not wide receivers, but pass catching offense almost that you can get in the NFL, probably. Other than
whatever Drake May is going to be walking into in New England.
But I don't even what Devontae Parker,
Juju Smith-Schuster.
Oh yeah, Juju. Yeah, good luck, Drake. Man.
Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. Yeah, that, you want to talk about a bare cupboard.
Yeah, exactly. Whoa. Yeah, Giants aren't much better than, but they are better than them. So I mean, hey, same with the Patriots. They probably should trade out of that. I think getting one of the top wide receivers or the Brock Bowers, the top tight end for Giants, could be enough for them to just. Obviously, they were in playoffs just a year ago, because Kirk Cousins. No, I don't have to explain anything. So they have pieces there, but Daniel Jones going down, this thing kind of has changed a bit for them. So I don't know. Right. I'm not convinced. I do think there's a real possibility that you see JJ McCarthy fall past the 6th pick, and then things will get interesting.
Right. I mean, because at that point, then, like, is a team going to make a move, or is everyone just going to kind of stand pat and see what happens? And if nobody makes a move, then I think you realize that maybe all the McCarthy hype was a little overblown. I don't know. Time will tell.
The thing with Penix, still to this day, the thing with Penix is obviously, I think he has I don't think a rocket of an arm is good enough. I think he just is a sniper. Like, that dude snipes with the ball. It's not just he just goes and launches it. It's right on the button and coming in quick. But I feel like I don't really care about the left-handed thing, even though it is weird, but his throwing motion's kind of wonky anyways, and it's kind of slow. And he has shown when he has been pressured to overthrow the ball. And I do think that it's going to be a lot. I think our offensive line isn't too terrible other than the interior, and we still need a guard there. But if he's going, I'm a little worried about him getting pressured in the NFL, and if he can hold up. Where JJ McCarthy, opposite of that. He's, I think, arguably second best in this class behind Caleb Williams as far as dealing with pressure, in my opinion. So that's one thing with Penix. But at the same time, I mean, I think his arm talent is borderline elite as far as what he can do with the ball. Of course, people talk about him throwing down the middle. One thing I was worried about with him was him not being able. He does well moving around in the pocket, but not really well moving outside of the pocket. I think a lot of people know he's not really good on throwing on the run. So that's another thing with Michael Penix that I am actually worried about. But I was also worried that he would never really use his legs. And I do feel a little bit better that he runs this, potentially sub 4.5 40. And that's obviously the reason why we're even probably talking about Penix right now. And everybody's talking about him. So anybody who doesn't really take people's pro days into account, I think he's someone that once he ran that 40, I think it changed a lot of pretty much everybody's opinion. I don't think there's one person out here like Michael Penix is still like just where at like a second round pick or whatever. I think most people think he's a first round pick at this point. Agreed. Rattler versus Love. Hey, let's go. Yeah, I would have to agree. Rattler is. I'll take Rattler over Love. Love was straight carried by Aaron Jones. Everybody knows that. Should we jump into a mock real quick? Maybe we'll just do a 4-rounder.
Sure.
And we can play out this scenario where we'll kind of feel it out, I guess. We'll see where we'll for sure let it get past the Giants pick. Let's roll that scenario. And then we can roll where if maybe we pick Penix at 4 or at 11. I mean, for PFF, I'm sure we probably could trade back or do whatever we want. But hey, again, everybody, I love being hated in here. Hey, we love you, Steve. Sometimes. Again, everybody in here, another show, another Ivan Pace Jr. rookie card. I only have a few more of these exact ones left. These are the Pandora Prism out of 400. Get the hashtag skulls in the comments. Like the video and subscribe if you have not already. But get those likes on this video and get the hashtag skulls, and you got to be here to win. That's the rule. That's the only rule. So we'll get after this mock draft, we'll give that away. But yeah, what are we thinking?
So you said let it get to 6?
I say let it get to 7. I want to get it past the Giants. Let's let it get to 7. Oh, wow. Okay. Well,
Drake Mayfield a 6? Excuse me?
I said let it get to 6. Obviously, I just don't see a world where this happens. I don't know. Obviously, if we stopped at 6, you probably try to trade up to Drake May, and you're not giving 4 first-round picks. You're probably giving 2 first-round picks to make that happen at that point, in my opinion. But we're just going to play. We'll play this possibility out where let's do stick and pick in this.
So now do we, he's right there, top of the board, number 8, Johnny Newton. The trade. So the Raiders want to come up. Here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
If we move, do the Raiders take Michael Penix here? Why else would the Raiders want to move up with us?
Go back to quarterbacks. Go to quarterbacks right here. Who do they have? They have Bo Nix higher.
So, I mean, either way, the Raiders are coming up for a quarterback. That's what I feel. That's what I'm feeling.
Yeah. I feel that. In real life, I'd be pretty afraid for them to do that and us to get stuck with Bo Nix. Go to defensive interior. Why did I think they had Murphy higher than Newton? They must have made some changes here. Oh, yeah. Huh. Oh, rank.
So there's still a lot of names here we like.
Yeah. Sweat. It'll be interesting to see where they have him go during this.
So I don't know, what do you think here? Because if we take the Raiders trade, odds are maybe they come up for Bo Nix. Maybe.
Let's I'll just end this poll here. 44% was the final verdict of Michael Penix is most likely to be the Vikings quarterback of the future. Man, things have changed around here.
I'm kind of tempted to take the trade and see what the Raiders do here.
All right, hold on. Let me ask the
because let's see if there's a way that we could just they wouldn't give up. I mean, they give up 77. They wouldn't give up 44, which is fair.
Oops. I don't know if I should be the poll guy. The poll's so far away from my face, looking at my second screen here. All right. Let us know. Put those votes in. What should we do here at pick 11? Broncos. That is a real possibility that they could take the other quarterback here. In the real draft, that'd be crazy. In the real draft, all 5 or all 6 quarterbacks get taken in the top 13 picks.
See, and I just feel like if the Vikings go Penix at 11, the number one thing that you're going to see.
I could see that. Honestly, after the Giants, I think the Bears would be the sketchiest next pick in front of us.
Maybe. But I mean, here's the thing, right? If the Vikings in this scenario, if they just grab Penix at pick 11, there's 2 things you're going to hear. And they're both, very much similar. 1, here comes Christian Ponder again. We got forced to take a quarterback, so all the other ones are gone. Number 2 will be Kwesi panic picked. Which, in this scenario, no, because at least Michael Penix is a name that people have heard of, where Christian Ponder, when we took him, people are just like, who? I don't know who this guy is. At least Penix is a name. Penix has the ability. It's just what's keeping him here instead of being a top 5 pick is injuries plus age, right? So
Raiders grabbing Penix Jr. at 13. I was gonna say. I don't know. But say that again.
I forgot what I said.
with Penix at City, like, do you think Penix is going to be worth the trade, or is what are people going to say about Michael Penix at this spot?
Oh, yeah. Basically, they're just going to say Kwesi panic picked, and they're going to compare it to Christian Ponder all over again, where everybody else was gone. Kwesi just, kind of got frozen and said, "Shoot, I need a quarterback." I don't know, but unlike, because they could have, like, Spielman could have just said, "F it, I'm not taking Ponder." You could have gotten him in the 4th round, probably, right? Where Michael Penix, if you pass on him here, there's a chance he goes to one of the next 2 teams after you. So It's not going to be the same scenario. It's not going to be a complete panic pick because Penix is a name, at least. Penix has shown he can be a quality NFL quarterback with his abilities that he does have. Does he need some work? Sure. Do his injuries still need, like, he's been injury free for the last 2 years for the most part. Does that need to stay the same? Absolutely. Yeah. But if he stays healthy and things work out, Penix has a chance to be a game changer.
Yeah. Here, I'll go back here. This is what I meant to say. Is this Zach then with the Raiders grabbing Penix Jr.? So this is Naptime Sports Talk Podcast. This is the guys we're going to have on next Monday. And it's a Viking fan and a Raiders fan. And we're going to roll a mock draft. And that's why it's going to be interesting, because we'll find out, this Raiders Nation, are they all in on Penix? It's a real possibility.
Or is that supposed to be like LOL to the Raiders grabbing Penix at 13?
My guess is, I don't know. My guess it's Zach.
Well, at this point, the Vikings have already lost their pick and they're not going to get to pick anyway. What are we doing here? Is we just take Penix?
We got 57% says just grab Penix. 29% says grab interior offense or defensive line, and 14% says trade back. So at this point, we're not going to take any risk. We didn't get the top 4 quarterbacks. In my opinion, I do think there's a chance that's another thing with Michael Penix. Like, it's not the Christian Ponder thing, because Michael Penix, he was in the national championship. He had the 2nd most yards in college since Patrick Mahomes. Like, he has all the pedigree you want. His medical came back clean. He ran a 4.46 or a 4.56, whatever you want to believe there, but a sub 4.6 for sure, which is fantastic. And as long as this kid can stay healthy, I mean, I don't know. If this happened in the real draft, I'm like, just go grab Penix, because I don't want to have to go get Bo Nix, right, even though Bo Nix is going to end up being the best one here.
Steve, I don't think Penix makes it to 23.
I don't think so.
I really don't think he makes it 23. So we're just going to be smart. Well, smart here. We're taking Michael Penix. Yeah. The Raiders. Okay, so there's 2 tackles, and who knows? Maybe the Raiders are going to try to jump up and grab a tackle. I don't know. We probably could have made a move up and gotten somebody there, but so let's see who's going to be left for us here. Johnny Newton. Okay, I'm happy.
Yeah, we got to go.
Basically, sitting here.
Wait. Choice. All right. No, this is the question. Okay. Johnny Newton, or this is the whole show. This is what this whole show is all about. We're stuck at the first 2 people with Newton and Byron Murphy. Now we'll figure out what the people think.
You still have Latu. You still have Kool-Aid McKinstry.
No, we're going.
Damn. I'm just saying, there's a lot of names here. This would be perfect if this is how it played out, actually.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's not going to happen.
I mean, look,
I wouldn't be surprised if one of them are there at
basically our entire top 5 is still here right now. Newton, Murphy, Fisk, Rook, T'Vondre Sweat. They're all here.
Oh, yeah. All right. I'm going to say we put Newton as our number 1. My guess is I'm going to say Murphy is generally the more favorite, but let's find out right now. Who we going? If this is the scenario, we grab Penix at 11, some way, somehow, sitting at 23. You got Byron Murphy and Johnny Newton sitting there. We got 1 for Murphy. We got some Murphys in here. Click the poll. All right. Yeah, this is going to be, we got 2 for Murphy so far. Come on, let's tap that poll. Who we got? Hey, this could be a real scenario. Even if not, like, there's a chance if we pick at 11, do you think there's any chance we maybe would try to trade up a little bit if we really liked one of a defensive interior? Not impossible.
I don't think so. I think you sit there at 23 and you take the best defensive player you can get. If it's interior, great. If it's corner, fine.
But hopefully, like you're saying, if Newton and Byron, that's what I'm saying. Like, let's say Newton and Murphy were both gone here. I don't want a defensive interior. Yes, there's some cornerbacks that I would like there. There's probably some edge there as well, like Latu potentially, though you do have to worry about his injury history, all that kinds of stuff. But it'd be hard to see Kwesi actually trade back after trading for that pick. And I definitely don't think he does it if he's going to take a big L on that other trade. I think you got to just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that point, your pride's a little tough, you know?
Yeah. So it looks like Murphy's 86%, 14%.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. I think we'll pull the trigger on it. Here. You guys are all wrong. I mean, it should have been Johnny Newton, but
no, I think it's close. I would not have an idea who I would say I think really would ultimately be better here. But hey, I still want, did Sweat go? Pause it.
Wait, no, did Newton go in he did. He went 38. He went the second round. Damn.
All right, Murphy was the pick according to PFF. How is he dropping that far? That dude looks like he could be a stud.
Andre Sweat is still on the board.
I still want to get Sweat. So, I mean, I feel like we might be able to get him mid-third round here. We're just going to stack that defensive interior. That's what we need to do. Who are you stopping at? Oh, Chris Jenkins is gone.
Let's see here. Okay.
They need
defensive interior is not super high on there. It's not here either. I'm trying to see where the next run on interior would come. Probably down here.
Yeah, go to maybe you stop with the Colts pick. Stop with the Colts pick, 82.
Oh, there he goes.
No,
it wasn't even defensive interior. Wasn't even on
wow. There. Every time we try to do that.
Whatever.
All right, let's just roll. Let's just pick.
It's been a stick. It's been a stick and pick mock.
Yeah, so it's a stick and pick. We tried. Hopefully, he can go down a little bit further than that.
We do need some linebacker help, but
what do we got for a defensive interior? Let's go. Let's see what we got here. Leonard Taylor. Don't love it.
Not at this point. Maybe
not at this point. Maybe the next pick. Yeah.
Wide receiver? No.
What's the corners looking like? You do have Cam Hart there. I know a lot of us like Cam Hart. Lockdown Marvin Harrison Jr.
Was DJ James the guy we watched we kind of liked or no?
I don't know if we've seen much of him.
Check trades. 54, 53 run defense grade. It's not great against the run, but solid in coverage at playing for Auburn. 114.
Corner. Yeah. We might have to go corner here.
117, 120.
Sweat will go to the Bengals. Man, I want Sweat.
We're sticking and picking here. How about running back? What do we got there?
Ray Davis. I don't know enough about. We'll actually be digging into running backs this week, but for now, I don't know enough to be convinced. We do know a little bit more about some of these corners, which, a little bit. It gets a little dicey. There's so many cornerbacks that coming into every single draft. All right, we got Allen.
Who? Braylon Allen. I just.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, Braylon Allen.
Everything here is telling you could get him at 129.
Yeah, we'll wait. Perfect comment. Yeah.
But really, there's
we might be able to get him later, unless we want to. Here, actually,
snag a corner.
Trade back. Wait, is there any way we can 114 and 116?
114, 117, 124.
What's that?
Colts next have 117, and the Niners have 124.
No, go grab 114 and 116.
You're not getting 114
Just
and 116.
Do it. Just do it. 108, and then add 157, and add 232.
How does this even have a 56% chance? You get two back-to-back picks, and you're going to
offer trade.
It's dumb.
Offer another one.
They'd be dumb to take that.
Hey, let's go.
Why would you give up two picks that close to each other?
Let's go. Run it. All right. Let's go. What's the trades looking like?
None.
No trades. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's do what everybody wants. Let's go with corner. I say let's start with. Where is Cam Hart on here? 116. Let's go with Cam Hart here.
I want to see what this guy's all about.
Still pretty good. What's his size?
5'11".
5'11". No,
Smaller.
pass. Even though his coverage is really nice.
Good. 4 interceptions. Not bad.
Yeah, we didn't watch this guy, did we? I mean, everybody likes Cam Hart.
Fun.
He's 6'4".
Yeah.
All right. Should we get? So now this is the question. Should we go grab? Who do you think is most likely to be there? Because who are you thinking if we're going to go defensive interior again? I guess we don't have to go defensive interior. I guess because we got one.
Yeah, but I mean,
so we don't really need to.
You got your Byron Murphy. You got your.
We'll be looking there at guards. We'll be looking at guards here.
Ooh, is Cooper Beebe still available?
Yeah, exactly.
I doubt it. He is. Cooper Beebe. Sorry, I made the decision for you guys. And now, if we wanted to, we could grab Braylon.
Oh, let's just do it. Oh, yeah. Okay.
We could also double up on the interior, grab a McKinley Jackson.
No, let's go with Allen. Let's go with the people's choice. This was a people's choice draft.
1 sec. I'm going to try something.
Oh, I guess Casey's not done yet.
What's it going to take?
Wait, what are you trying to do?
Screw it. We're not picking in the 5th round. We're going to go ahead. We're gonna grab ourselves Braylon Allen, and then we're gonna double down and we're gonna get ourselves a nose.
You're gonna take a chance.
I was gonna take McKinley Jackson.
You think so?
I mean,
but Jackson's the safe choice. I know some
McKinley
people
Jackson.
Some people have Boyd going much later than this.
325. I mean, big body in the middle. You got your impact guy as a pass rusher.
Let's go, Joey. Hey, stay away from the Notre Dame players. You don't like Notre Dame? Or are they just bad? Even though Harrison Smith is the GOAT.
I don't know. What do you think? I was just gonna snag
I would say if
Jackson,
it was
but
I liked what we've seen from obviously he's playing against way easier talent, but you're getting a guy that has high upside based off if you're talking about a guy who is athletic for his size and he's everything you want in the defensive interior and production and everything. It's just the fact he played smaller schools, way smaller schools. D2. Yeah. We already talked about him. I keep forgetting you, even though you have a Packer logo, I keep forgetting that you're a Packer fan for a second. That's why you want us to stay away. That makes sense. I forgot when you tell us to stay away from a guy, it's because you like him.
Christian Boyd, top 30 visit.
Top 30. Like ooh. Are you Yogi? Who would you go with? Are you a Christian Boyd guy, Yogi? I think McKinley, when you watch McKinley Jackson, this is how I feel about it. When I watch McKinley Jackson, yes, I see this big guy that can probably eat up the middle of the defense and things like that. But are you watching a guy that you're can be more than that? Is he going to be a very solid starter someday? Or where Christian Boyd, it's hey, he's kind of he could be a diamond in the rough. If he's ends up being good, he has a chance to be really good. But
Murphy just dominating for the next 4 years.
I see.
And the other thing I see is McKinley Jackson just taking up space while Byron Murphy goes to work.
And that's fair. I'll go Christian Boyd here.
Okay. Let's do it. Christian Boyd it is.
We're taking some chances here. Why not? We had 2 extra 4th round picks.
So we decided not to make. Oh, they would have recommended us take Quinion Mitchell. Yeah, whatever.
Wait, I didn't know they did that.
Apparently, mock draft.
They're just
I don't need an assistant. I'm doing it myself.
We don't need to know what you think about Michael Penix.
So I mean, again,
I think it's fair. Michael Penix at 11 isn't my best case scenario,
but I think you're legitimately worried that you're not going to be able to get him at 23 if you pass at 11. But the fact that you're able to get him at 11, and Byron Murphy Jr. gets down to 23, if you come out of the 1st round with Penix and Murphy in whatever order you decide to pick them in, are you going to be bummed you didn't make a big splash and move up and go get your guy? Sure. But is this realistic to think that this could happen? Also, yes. So
at this point, at this point, my money is if all 4 quarterbacks are gone that we like, I feel like this is probably the most most likely scenario, just because of all the quarterback needy teams right behind us.
Like, and part
Even
of me,
though I don't love it. I really wish we would be able to trade back if this was the scenario. But Michael Penix really did a lot with his. Now I'm like, before I was like kind of happy he ran a really fast 40, but now I'm like, maybe it wasn't. Maybe he should have just not ran one, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't hate it. I don't know. Okay. I'm starting to get to the point where if you can get up to 3, I'm giving up 3 first round picks. If you can't get up to 3, I'm capping it at a swap plus 23. I'm sorry. I don't know. Like, I like JJ McCarthy. I think JJ McCarthy could be really good. I just don't know if I'm willing to give up 3 first round picks to go get JJ McCarthy.
Would you trade 2 first round picks to get JJ McCarthy?
Yes. Yep. I would trade both this year to get JJ McCarthy. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would go 3 though.
So that's why I have this feeling that we'll see, unless we love JJ McCarthy so much, but I have this feeling that, and that was my prediction earlier on, actually not that far recently, where I was saying that my prediction was the Vikings would trade with Tennessee at 7 for JJ McCarthy. And I think that's still on the table. If we get JJ McCarthy, something makes me feel like it's going to be with the trade with the Titans.
Mitchell at 11, Byron Murphy at 23, Milton in the 5th round. I don't know, man. Milton is.
We can't do that. We got to go get our guy, Yogi. Well, if that's not the case, then we're getting our guy next year, which would suck. But
when me and Jamie were watching cornerback highlights, there's a couple Milton throws that were just like, they were bullets, but they were awful.
Yeah, I know. When you see who was it that was watching? I think it was Kool-Aid. Yeah, Kool-Aid and Arnold. That's the thing, is they play Texas, and man, a lot of their highlights and stuff comes against Texas. Too evil, still on the Hartman train, huh? Still on the old Sam Hartman. The what's that? Is it Fabiano or whatever? The model dude with the long hair. So my wife knows who Sam Hartman is, and she doesn't know anyone else in the draft. So that says enough, right?
Hey, I mean, you don't need to be a good football player. You can get by on your looks.
Some of them can. Some of them definitely can. Is that what it is, Too Evil? Are you trapped in the whole Hartman? You
like his hair, don't you?
You like his hair. Fabio,
I mean, I like his hair. I wish I had his hair, personally.
I could never grow some long hair like that.
No, me neither.
I mean, he's a good-looking guy, but
can
he play quarterback? I think pretty averagely, to be honest. I ain't falling for the Hartman thing. It ain't getting me. It ain't gonna get me with that. No way. Vikings had private workout with Bo Nix too. LOL. Everyone, right? Did we ever get the one with Jaden Daniels?
Apparently not.
Because he's the one that was like, I'm expecting to be gone before at least the 3rd pick or something like that. So he just really would think he would really think we're not going to be the 3rd. We're not. Man, damn Bears. Damn Bears in Houston. Damn Houston losing to the Bears 2 years ago.
Lovie Smith should get, going back to last year's draft, Lovie Smith should get a statue in Houston for winning that one game and getting them the number 2 pick instead of the number 1 pick.
Yeah. Well, I know. He ended up helping them. Screwed us. Definitely screwed us.
You should put a statue outside that stadium.
Yeah, that's turning to Caleb Williams for the Bears, and they still have another pick in the top 10 for us. And then Houston, luckily, couldn't draft Bryce Young and got CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But all right, everybody, we're going to get this away pretty quickly here. So last chance to get your hashtag skulls in the comments, to like the video and subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll give this away pretty quick. Let's see. Yeah, let me bring it up. Not yet. Yeah, I wonder if they will be able to.
I don't know. Or if it's worth it for him too at this point.
Get them hashtag skulls in. I mean, I don't know. I'm not convinced that it's impossible for the Patriots to actually trade down.
No, not impossible, but
just because their team is just
right.
And it did sound like, based off of Mayo and what all these guys were saying, and even craft where it sounded like they were interested in the idea. But if they're actually like, hey, like
4
it's gonna
first
cost you
rounders.
4 first round, like the
No.
craziest trade of all time.
No.
Like, chill, bro. This is for the third pick.
I mean, like, and it is interesting though, because like if you do love, like, let's say Drake May is the target. If you love Drake May that much, and you're thinking like, yeah, well, we'll have all the free agency money, we'll be able to build our team through that, but we give up our first round picks this year and the next 2 years, and we just go get our quarterback. Like, I guess if you do that and it works, it's perfect, right? Like, no one's gonna. Like, I think actually the quote came up yesterday. Being the GM of Buffalo, to where he said like, okay, so I trade up. Like, people were mad that we traded up so much to go get Josh Allen. If it works, no one's gonna give a shit. If it doesn't, I'm not gonna be here. So why do I care? So it's like, that's kind of a good point. Like, Quasi's sitting there. It's like, yeah, if I make this move and it doesn't work out, then I'm out of a job anyway. And if I don't make this move, odds are I'm still out of a job if we don't find a quarterback. So,
well, that's what I think. That's the one thing people aren't. And one thing that might annoy a lot of people is I don't think they realize how desperate a GM could be sometimes,
especially now.
Yeah, if he going and grabbing a guy that you think for sure is going to be your future is probably the best case scenario, or it's probably the best case scenarios for him. I mean, he's taking a gamble, but if he sits back and doesn't pick any of these quarterbacks and then we suck or something like that, then he's going to probably be fired. Might as well go get your guy. And if he turns out, you might have a job for the next, decade.
But also, like, what if we trade what if we trade 4 first round picks to the Patriots, and then in the next 3 years they're a dynasty again, and we're sitting here looking at them like, just like back with the Herschel Walker trade, like, oh, we gave them all those draft picks that they turned into this, and we got Drake May, and he ain't that good. Like, oh boy, like, it's not even just Quasi's side of it. It's Vikings fans having to be the butt of another joke. Like, the Vikings being the first team to make a trade up with 4 first round picks. Hey, on the board early. Or is it 2 zip then?
Let's go. Almost took the under.
They're playing the Dodgers, and after that putrid series against Cleveland, where we left like a million base runners in scoring position, it's a mess. But love to see it. 2-1. Okay, love to see it.
Okay. All right, let's run this thing. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Got to be here to win. You might not see your name on here, but it doesn't mean you're not in here. Let's go. Who we got tonight? Let's see. Boom, boom. Got to be here to win. That's the only rule. Boom, boom. Too Evil. Dang, Too Evil wins a lot. I think he's already won one of these cards. But Too Evil, are you still in here? I mean, it wasn't long ago since you said Hartman. Too Evil's been on a streak. He's here. Hey, congratulations, my guy. Too Evil with the W's over here. Let's go. But yeah, so, I mean, ultimately, get Sweat. And hopefully he drops in the 4th round some way, somehow. Send to Rap. All right. I got you. I know he, obviously the big Ivan. He's been popping in here trying to get this card too. I respect that. I'll put From Too Evil on there. Too evil to lose. Too evil to lose. He ain't gonna be losing. That's funny. Yeah, no problem, dude. For sure. Appreciate you, man. For real. Anything else?
I got nothing. Anything else from you?
Just go get your quarterback of the future.
Yeah, and we only have 2.5 more weeks of all the speculation, then we can finally see what we're gonna do.
Wednesday.
Thanks again, everybody, for hopping in tonight. We'll be back with Dave on Wednesday. If any of you are bored tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central, we'll be on Bleacher Report, so hop in there if you would. We'd appreciate that.
Definitely.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.
Let's go Vikes.